Today we're going over every brand new legendary Pokemon introduced in Scarlet and Violet. What's up, y'all?
Mr. Dr. Professor
Titan here, and in today's video, to enhance your Pokemon adventure, we will be doing a brief overview of all the top things you're definitely going to want to know about every brand new legendary Pokemon introduced in Generation 9. The info we highlight today can definitely benefit any seasoned player, whether you're doing online battles, raids, or shiny hunting, or maybe you haven't even purchased the games yet, or haven't purchased the DLC, and you want to check out how truly awesome these legendaries can be. With this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future Pokemon content and helpful vids. We just reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported so far. And now let's get to it. Alright, y'all, so I first separated the legendaries based off if you can catch them in the mainline game or the DLC. This first row is all mainline game, no extra cost. These bottom 5, you will have to purchase the Scarlet and Violet DLC to get them. But with that, if you have purchased the DLC, they just recently released a brand new event, which is the Epilogue event, and that's how you get the new Mythical Pokemon Pecharunt. So as an added bonus for this video, we're going to check that out real quick first because it's brand new. It's pretty basic, but super cute in my opinion. That shell sort of opens up to reveal sort of a little another character inside. Besides that, it's the first Poison Ghost Mythical, so that's pretty cool. And it's the first Poison Ghost introduced since the Gengar line that was introduced all the way back in Generation 1. So that's a cool fun fact as well. With that, the ability Poison Puppeteer. This is one of its big highlights. Long story short, if it poisons a Pokemon, maybe through Toxic, which is one of its moves, that Pokemon is not only poisoned, but it gets confused as well. Mind blown, baby. That's pretty darn good. It's got a brand new move called Malignant Chain, really good special attack, power 100. It also has the ability to potentially badly poison a Pokemon. It works really well with its new ability. It gets Toxic, it gets Nasty Plot to boost its special attack. Its stats are all base stat 88, except for its defense, which is 160, which is nuts. And so I'm not really sure why that is, but it definitely has potential when it comes to raids. It definitely is a really fun, just overall poison type to use if you're into poison types and you're battling your friends, or maybe online if you can use it to find some sort of secret sauce. It's definitely one to check out. Alright, y'all, now diving into the actual legendaries of the game. First things first, we're going to check out the Ruinous Quartet. These are sort of like the legendary birds trio, etc., etc. Raikou, Suicune, and Entei. You get the picture. Wo-Chien is the first one here. All 4 of these Pokemon are pretty versatile. Pretty good spread along the boards. This one specifically is a dark grass type, and its special defense is its best stat overall. With that, they all get this super awesome new ability called Tablets of Ruin. And it's all a little different based on these 4 Pokemon, but first things first, Wo-Chien, its ability lowers the attack stat of all Pokemon in battle. So if you're in a raid and you have people that you're raiding with, the raid Pokemon will lose 25% of its attack, but everyone on your team as well will also lose that. So you want to take into account that when doing double battles or single battles, raids, etc. It's good Giga Drain user. It can set up Sun, so you can use a Solar Beam if you want. With that, though, this brand new move, Ruination. This is something that I highly recommend for anyone who loves shiny hunting. It's sort of a go-to Pokemon for me when I want to shiny hunt something and I don't want to put in a lot of effort. Ruination will have the health of a Pokemon until it reaches 1 HP. So it'll never faint a Pokemon, but it will take its health all the way down to 1 HP. So if you just totally train up one of these Pokemon, or even just get it up to level 100, if you use like this Pokemon and you're shiny hunting a shiny Palafin maybe, obviously save before, but you can just pretty much pop this Pokemon out. The Palafin's not going to do much because it's water type and this is grass type. Just keep using Ruination over and over again until it's about 1 HP, and then you can chuck any Pokeball you want at it until you catch it. Highly recommend. That's like one of my favorite shiny hunt strategies to use, and so that's our first Ruination legendary Pokemon, Wo-Chien. From there, we're getting into the big dogs. Ting-Lu is super cool. It's really good in online battling. It's had a good spotlight with double battles. Raid battles, it's pretty good as well, but the thing that's super cool about this is it can learn Fissure and then Stomping Tantrum, right? Stomping Tantrum and Fissure, both ground type moves. It's a ground type Pokemon, also a dark type. People will use Fissure. If it hits, you get a one-hit KO. If it misses, then Stomping Tantrum will do double damage if the user's previous move fails. Fissure, Stomping Tantrum, back and forth, does a ton of ground type move damage. So highly recommend this one if you love ground types. Heavy Slam is a good one if you want to take out any fairies that you're going up against. And then, of course, as well, Ruination is on this Pokemon too. Really good for shiny hunting if you need a ground type specifically that's super effective against something and you don't want to take a lot of damage. This is a bulky one, y'all. Definitely a bulky one. From there, we probably have... Okay, I'm torn between this one and the next one, but these are probably the two best of the Ruin Pokemon. This is Chien-Pao, a dark ice type. Really cool. Its Sword of Ruin will lower the defense stat of all Pokemon. Sort of like... Sorry, I need to touch on this real quick. Vessel of Ruin. Special attack is lowered for Ting-Lu as well. Really good for battles when facing Pokemon like Fluttermane or big special attack hitters. Its attack is its best, along with its speed stat. Icicle Crash is a great move for it. It does a super powerful Sucker Punch, obviously being a dark type, so that's something that a lot of people use with this Pokemon. Ruination, though, 100%. Gotta have it on the Pokemon if you're shiny hunting. From there, Chi-Yu. Okay, this is my one reasoning why I think Chi-Yu is the best out of all four of these legendaries, is because you can actually use it to gain a bunch of money. If you're trying to chase that bread in game to get a bunch of cash, you're going to want to definitely have Chi-Yu. I'll put a link in the bio below from a past video that I've touched upon this method. You train it up, you teach it Dark Pulse, and then you can pretty much mash A through the Academy Ace Tournament and run through literally every Pokemon, and then you give it an amulet coin. You get a ton of money, yo. A ton of money. Obviously, it's great. With Ruination, you can teach it to shiny hunt any Pokemon like a grass type. Heat Wave, Overheat. This thing is great for raids if you want to use a fire type Pokemon specifically, because it'll help out any other Pokemon with a really good special attack with the special defense stat sort of lowering with its ability. And then Overheat is just such a strong fire type move. Once you have it terrestrialized, that's going to do a ton of damage. From there, we have the box legendaries, and these things are awesome, y'all. These things are so cool. Koraidon, the huge thing about these that not a lot of people realize is you actually get two in your game. You get one to keep as a Pokemon that's sort of like a spare Pokemon. You can put it in your party, but you can never trade it. You can never put it in the boxes. You can never put it in a Pokemon home, but you can have it as a Pokemon that you battle with as well. But after you beat the game, you can go back to where you faced it initially, and it will have a second one available for you to catch. And so you can catch that one. Maybe you want to trade it to a friend for their box legendary, vice versa. I know a lot of my friends have done that. I highly recommend using it for raids right now. It knows Bulk Up, and then its best move, Collision Course, will attack hardcore, 100 base attack, but it also does more damage if it's a super effective hit on a Pokemon. So this is great if you're going up against maybe a normal raid type Pokemon. Use a couple bulk ups, just absolutely boost your attack stat, and then use a Collision Course. You're going to probably wipe it out in one hit if it's not that hard of a raid. It also gets Auriculum Pulse as an ability, and this thing is nuts because there are these new Pokemon called Paradox Pokemon introduced, and they're Pokemon like from the past. They get a boost if they are in the sunlight. You pop this bad boy out, it activates the sun on entry, so you're giving a boost to any other Paradox Pokemon from the past that you can catch in the Scarlet game, of course, as a boost for the raid as well. So, super huge for that. Definitely can be a menace when it comes to battling as well because of its abilities, because of its moves. It's a solid dragon fighting type. It gets to learn Outrage, which is probably its best attack for dragon type specifically. Close Combat as well is another good one to have on it, but oh my gosh, such a cool Pokemon. Transitioning to the other box legendary of Pokemon Violet, we've got Miraidon here, which is the equivalent to Koraidon for the games, but it's an insane special attacker in comparison to Koraidon's attack stat. It's also an electric dragon type Pokemon and pairs very well with all the futuristic Paradox Pokemon that you can catch specifically in Pokemon Violet. It pretty much gives a boost to all those Pokemon with its abilities similar to Koraidon's ability. Hadron Engine will allow it to activate an electric terrain when it comes into battle, which also gives it a boost to an electric type moves. So specifically for raids, this is pretty much my go-to electric type. I will use a Metal Sound, and then I'll use a charge to boost up my Electro Drift, which is its signature electric attack. It does more damage if it's a super effective hit, so if any water type raid Pokemon comes your way, use a Miraidon and you'll be in a pretty darn good spot. Obviously, this thing does a ton when it comes to battling as well. It can learn Draco Meteor. It's got just a bunch of other amazing moves that it can learn to really help you out in battle. So definitely try it out. Or if you would like, you get two for Pokemon Violet. You can trade with a buddy, trade your legendaries if need be, so you can get this one in your game ASAP. Moving along, now we're going to look at every new legendary Pokemon specifically for the Scarlet and Violet DLC. You will have to purchase the DLC to acquire these Pokemon, or you can get them in Pokemon Home, or maybe trade with a friend. These first three we'll look at is sort of like the second trio that they introduced in Generation 9. They're all poison types, so if you're a poison type trainer, these are for you. This first one, Monkidori, poison psychic type. Nothing too crazy. I have seen it in online battles. The ability that these Pokemon get is pretty unique. It's sort of like the mythical Pokemon. The power of the Pokemon's toxic chain may badly poison any target the Pokemon hits with the move, so it doesn't have to be a physical attack. It can be a physical or special attack regardless. There is a chance to have these Pokemon poison the opponent Pokemon if the ability is able to hit properly. It learns Fake Out, so you could pretty much just like, fake out a Pokemon and poison it right off the bat first turn. So that's pretty cool. It learns Nasty Plot as special attack is its best stat specifically. From there, it can also learn Sludge Wave, great poison type move. Psychic for stab ability when it comes to just hitting with a good psychic type attack. Moving right along to the second Pokemon of what the games call the Loyal Trio. We have Okidogi here, a poison fighting type. This is a bit better than Monkidori in my opinion. It's just bulkier overall. In contrary to Monkidori specifically, Okidogi's best stat is its attack stat. From there, you can teach it Bulk Up. It's got great dark moves like Brutal Swing, Crunch. It can learn Drain Punch, so that is something that I do see people using in raids. Pop up a couple Bulk Ups, really boost that attack stat, and then use a Drain Punch so that you get super effective fighting type attack while also healing yourself. Great one for sure. Poison Jab, probably one of its best stab poison moves. It does also get Toxic Chain, so any move has the potential to poison the opposing Pokemon. So overall, pretty solid Mon. I think it's pretty cool. The design for these three are pretty basic in my opinion, but they're sort of like a zombie vibe, so I do really like that. The third and final of the Loyal Trio is Fezandipiti. It's a poison fairy type, and I mainly see it online using Tailwind to pretty much boost the speed of all of its allied Pokemon in battle. You can use it in raids. It's nothing too crazy, but obviously that Tailwind is pretty clutch. It learns Roost to heal itself. It's got good moves like Dazzling Gleam, Venoshock, so Venoshock does a bit more damage if the Pokemon's poisoned. It's got the same ability, Toxic Chain, as the other two Loyal Trio Pokemon. It's overall pretty solid, but nothing too crazy. Its special defense is its best stat overall. But besides that, the Loyal Trio is nothing too important, but still really cool Pokemon, really fun Pokemon to try out. Getting into the home stretch, we only have 2 more Legendaries to go, and where the heck do I start with this amazing Pokemon we love to call Ogerpon? I nicknamed it Shrek because it is the Ogre Pokemon specifically, so obviously I had to do it. But this thing is absolutely broken. So, as you can see, it's holding the held item Heartflame Mask, and it's currently a Grass Fire type. But it starts out as just a regular Grass type. We'll get to that in a second. It can hold 4 different masks, which changes its type to Grass, Grass Water, Grass Fire, and Grass Rock. As you can see, we're currently Grass Fire, and this will change its ability to Mold Breaker. But if you terrestrialize it, it will get an attack boost. But long story short, Mold Breaker can definitely help out with a bunch of different Pokemon. I like to pair it up with Golden Go and then use Helping Hands, because Helping Hands can not usually affect Golden Go, but with Mold Breaker it does, and then you can use Make It Rain to deal an insane amount of damage. With that, Ivy Cudgel, its signature move, will change into the Fire type in battle. So you can see it's Grass here, but since I have the Fire Mask on, if I used it in battle, it will show as Fire specifically. It has a better chance of critical hitting, base power 100, insane, absolutely insane. Spiky Shield is another move it can learn. This is brand new for this Pokemon as well. Also broken, it's literally Protect, but it will do damage to a Pokemon if it uses an attack specifically. So if you use Fake Out on Ogerpon, and the Ogerpon uses Spiky Shield, you're not only not able to hit the Pokemon, but you're doing damage to yourself as well. Crazy cool, crazy cool. If you change its mask from Fire to Water, it will change its typing from Fire to Water. Well, Water and Grass specifically. And then instead of Mold Breaker, it will learn Water Absorb. So it will gain health from any water attack and also not affected by water type moves. Ivy Cudgel will change to the water type. And then if you terrestrialize Ogerpon to its special form, its terrestrialized form is pretty much like a Mega Pokemon, so it's pretty nuts. It's awesome. If it does have the water type mask, it will raise its special defense. The grass type mask will raise its speed. Change Ivy Cudgel to a grass type. It will learn the ability Defiant, and then instead of Defiant, if you give it the rock type Cornerstone mask, it will learn the ability Sturdy. So any one-hit KO move will not actually KO it. It will always leave 1 health if it's the first attack that's been hit onto Ogerpon. And then if you terrestrialize it to its cornerstone mask Terraform, it will raise its defense. Wow. Wherever you want to use this Pokemon, it's got so many cool things going for it. You're just going to have a good time. You know, you're going to have fun if you use Ogerpon. Go catch it in the DLC as soon as you can so that you can use it in your adventure, so that you can use it in online battles. However you want to use it, it's absolutely broken. And last, but definitely not least, we've got Terapagos. This is the legendary Pokemon that you catch at the end of the Indigo Disc DLC. So this Pokemon is initially a normal type, right? And this form of it is pretty irrelevant. When you pop it into battle, it automatically changes to its terrestrial form, and then it gets the ability Terra Shell, which if you get hit by maybe a super effective move first, right? A close combat comes right at your Terapagos. The first move it gets hit with, no matter what, is going to be not very effective. Awesome, right? Pretty darn cool. Then, of course, the next move, it can be super effective. It'll have whatever the usual effectiveness the move is. That's what will apply after that initial first move. And then, after that first move, maybe you got a little bit damage done to you. You'll want to terrestrialize Terapagos into the Stellar form, and then from there, its signature move, Terra Starstorm, will change into the Stellar type. And Terapagos can only be the Stellar Terra type, but what this does is it allows Terra Starstorm to be super effective against any terrestrialized opponent Pokemon, or a terrestrialized Pokemon in a raid. So, very clutch move for sure. If it is terrestrialized and you're in a double battle, Terra Starstorm will hit both Pokemon on your opponent's side of the field. So, very clutch move right there. Its ability, Terraform Zero, will be its ability in its Terraform specifically, and what that does is it pretty much removes any weather or like electric terrain, and so it's pretty much like the Rayquaza to the Kyogre and Groudon, Terapagos to Koraidon and Miraidon. It'll remove any of sort of their play field like abilities that really help out their strategies, and sort of like nullifies that. So really cool Pokemon here. Besides that, it's got a great move pool. The stats do change based on what form it's in as well, so definitely want to take that into account. But besides that, it is a very cool legendary Pokemon. It's got potential. Thanks so much for watching the video. I truly hope that you learned something new. Again, if you don't mind, please support the channel by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel at Mr. Dr. Professor Titan. I'll be popping out new Pokemon videos every single week, so make sure to stay tuned and maybe you'll learn something new. Thanks so much.